So worm farming is really easy. We've just got these cat litter boxes that work really nice. Put a sealable lid on there and you just drill real small, like 1/32 drill bit size holes. You want it to be real small, otherwise the worms can climb out, but they need to be big enough so that they can breathe. And as long as you're real careful with your water, because you can drown them, you don't have to put holes in the bottom. You just start these bins, and this is just another really beautiful aspect of true perfection in the circle of life. These worms that we're cultivating for our garden, they eat, newspaper, they eat cardboard, they eat leaves, and they put out what people call worm castings, which is really just worm poo. And worm poo is basically the best nutrient you can possibly get for a garden, yet the worms don't like to live in high concentration of their own feces. Most animals don't, most creatures don't. But what's so interesting about the circle of life is that every creature's waste in nature is another creature's food, is another creature's life-thriving force. The trees are a perfect example. The air that we breathe out, they're breathing in. And the air that they're breathing out, we're breathing in. It's happening all over the place. And that's just true sustainability, which is actually natural. It's really only humans that cultivate realities that aren't sustainable and actually have no idea what sustainability is, and then are constantly trying to figure out new inventions and methods and techniques and businesses for sustainability. They're actually completely off track. But anyways, this is a worm that's been fully composted down because of the worm eating all their matter. So they need to be fed, and I also need to change them because they don't like to live in high density of their own feces. So I'm just going to dump out and you can actually go through and sift the worms out and just add them to your garden, or you can sift the worms out and put them back in another worm farm and just use the castings for your garden. And then I'm going to fill this with either leaves or shredded newspaper, or in my case I'm just going to use all of these shredded paper pieces because I got all these from the dumpster. And you always want to keep it moist and cool, but you don't ever want it to be wet or else they will drown. This is real easy, and even here I have just like a 5-gallon paint bucket, and all I've got is a black trash bag, which I cut a piece off of from another bag that was in the trash that had leaves, and I just tied it with a piece of cloth, which is also a strip of cloth from trash that I just made a strip out of, tied it around here, and it keeps this tight enough to where the worms don't get out, keeps other bugs from getting in there, and then I poke little tiny holes in the top which allow it to have air which they can breathe, and then that's just a little worm farm right there. Super easy. So I'm going to add all this paper, and then I'm going to add some compost veggie scraps, and then I'm just going to take some water here, and I've just got this cool little planter pot, which is also another trash harvested item, which got little holes in the bottom. When you pick up water, it's just sort of like a little watering can. Works perfect. And that's basic worm farming 101 right there.